Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 197.
On Now You Know.
Brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons who help support this show and get some really great perks for it, including the Patreon bonus stories, which you can check out every week. Head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and check it out.
And you can help out the show by using our Amazon link down in the show notes.
Yeah. By clicking on that link, next time you're about to shop on Amazon anyway, about 4 or 5% of your purchases will go to help support this show, and it won't cost you anything.
And we're brought to you by Battery Hookup, the best place for all your DIY lithium battery needs. Don't get ripped off, get hooked up. Now You Know viewers get 10% off by using the code NOW at batteryhookup.com. And I see that you have a box here, and it says it's from Battery Hookup.
Yes.
What's in the box, Jesse? What's in the box? What's in the box?
So, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to figure out what this is.
What is it? What is that?
It is, well, let's just go ahead and say it's a battery, and, well...
Wait, so you're just going to put it there for the rest of the show?
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me what it is till the end of the show?
Nope. But, we'll end of the show and maybe Patreon bonus stories.
Oh, wow. Oh, I don't know if I can wait.
And we're brought to you by ecoware.us. Start positive conversations with carbon-negative products. We carbon offset the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of your purchase, and we plant a tree for every order, so your entire order is carbon negative.
Yeah, send us pictures of you wearing your EcoWare gear so we can get it on the show. All right, so Elon sent an email out to employees last week, and he did say this was legit, this was really him, and many people think that that's what boosted the stock price up over $1,000 last week. In the email, Elon told employees that, quote, "It's time to go all out and bring the Tesla Semi to volume production. It's been in limited production so far, which has allowed us to improve many aspects of the design. Production of the battery and powertrain would take place at Giga, Nevada, with most of the other work probably occurring in other states. Jerome and I are very excited to work with you to bring this amazing product to market." And he's referring there to Jerome Guillen, who's Tesla's president of automotive, who has been leading the Tesla Semi program since 2016.
Right. So the question here is this just a response to the Nikola One's IPO?
Nikola One being that hydrogen fuel cell electric semi-truck company.
Right.
Yeah, they just went public and raised billions of dollars.
Yes, and essentially, there's a lot of people who think that it is currently overvalued.
Yeah, we did an in-depth on this. You can go check that out here. And yeah, I think it's overvalued myself.
Right, and Gally agrees with us, and usually when Gally agrees with us, we're pretty confident.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this was kind of a shot across the bow to Nikola One saying, hey, yeah, you can talk all you want about your semi-trucks, but ours are coming out too. Was it also designed to keep semi-customers from straying? Because this is late, right? It was supposed to come out in 2019. And it hasn't come out yet. So maybe he's worried that some of the big, Walmarts and Budweisers won't be interested in his truck anymore.
I suppose so. But again, that would just be in the short term, I would imagine. Because to me, I think that pretty quickly, Tesla's going to establish itself as the leader in this field, as it's done in so many others. Yeah, I don't know. And now a lot of people are asking, like, why did Elon, send this email and then basically confirm that the leaked email was legit? And I think that it's just a great way to get more press about something. Yeah. Is if it's a leaked email, you go, ooh, it's leaked.
Yeah, the word leaked
ooh, secret I wasn't supposed to know.
Right.
I think that we were all supposed to know.
Yeah.
But let's talk about something that apparently we weren't supposed to know.
Yeah. So in a recent video, our buddy Rich from the Rich Rebuilds YouTube channel, he revealed that they have partnered with a Canadian firm called Evannex to hack a Model 3 long range and turn it into a performance.
Yeah, so they're going to call it the Ghost upgrade.
Yeah, so let's remember that the Model 3 long range can go 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds or thereabouts. Mm-hmm. And then Tesla offers an upgrade themselves. So for $2,000, you can upgrade that and get more horsepower and get 0 to 60 times of 3.9. So this company, Evannex, and I guess Rich Rebuilds are offering what's called the Boost 50 for $1,100. That would give you 50 horsepower boost and get your time up to what they're claiming is 3.7. And that would include disabling traction control.
And then Ghost mode, which is apparently more invasive, it requires a professional installation, would be $2,250. It would do 0 to 60 in 3.4. And this would include a lap mode and battery pack heating. But you would also lose the capability to receive software updates from Tesla. So what are they doing to these cars? They must be like taking out the motors, putting in beefier mode. No, they're not.
No.
They're not taking like crashed, performance Model 3 motors.
No, so take a look at this. This is the dongle they'd be plugging into the OBD port, and that's basically just a software patch. So what we're learning here, if this is true, is that the performance models and the long-range all-wheel drive models largely have the same hardware. It's just a software patch that unleashes the performance.
So that would mean that almost all the Tesla long-range all-wheel drive cars are actually performance Model 3s. They just haven't been unlocked. How do we know this?
We don't know it. I mean, you can go check out Rich's video where he shows them doing it. The big point here being that Tesla could shut this off at any point with the software patch. So I think that's why they have to disable software updates, and I think it voids the warranty.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like the kind of voidy warranty kind of deal. So, but then this begs the question, could Tesla have done this at some point in the future? Was this like a ninja star that they had in their back pocket and ready to like throw out at a moment's notice if like demand was going badly or they needed more cash or whatever, to just be like, oh, you want some more demand? Ka-chunk.
I think you're right. I think if the VW ID3, for instance, comes out with some great times and Elon wants to be like, you know what? Those times aren't so great. Ka-chung!
Right, because they wouldn't even have to put it up to the 3.4 0 to 60 time. They could just increase it to 3.6 or 3.5. Like they could, whatever they want to do, and just say it's a software upgrade, like they've been doing. So that kind of makes sense why they've been able to offer these free upgrades sometimes, to just be like, your car is now more powerful.
Because, I mean, keep in mind, these motors are super powerful. It was the Model 3 motors that we saw on the Tesla semi-truck.
Right.
So, I mean, these are wicked powerful motors.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is really interesting. It does kind of expose something that I think Tesla probably wished to have under wraps, which was that they had this thing in their back pocket that they could pull out at any time to just be like, we're going to upgrade your car. Now, the question that I have is, could there be something different between the long range and the performance? Like, because any link in the chain that isn't rated for that amount of current is going to pose a problem. So whether that's a connector or a fuse or anything, that could lead to a big problem. Now, obviously they've tested it, but have they tested it as much as some other people are going to test it? Like, are components going to wear a little bit more frequently? And then, if it's not under warranty, are you
dumb out of luck.
Out of luck, yeah.
So Tesla Owners Club of British Columbia announced that the first delivery of a Model Y in Canada happened last Wednesday. That's the first international delivery of the Model Y. And to put this in perspective, the first Model 3 was delivered in the US in December of 2017. In fact, that's when we got our first Model 3. Mm-hmm. And the first Model 3 delivery in Canada happened in May of 2018. So that was a 5-month difference.
With the Model Y, first US delivery in March, and now it is June 2020 in Canada, as it is in the rest of the world, that would be a 3 months difference.
Yeah, so Model Y doesn't come in cheap enough in Canada to meet the incentive requirements. The cheapest Model Y in Canada is $76,000 Canadian, and rebates are only available for cars $60,000 or cheaper.
Right, and keep in mind why this is. Right now, they're only selling the long range and the performance Model Ys. The Model 3, you can buy a standard range plus for much less and get the incentive. However, if you were to buy, say, a performance Model 3 in Canada, you don't get that incentive.
So a lot of people are saying the Model Y won't be as popular in Canada as the Model 3. I got to kind of argue here that they're wrong, because I think that an SUV in Canada is going to be more usable in the winter months than the Model 3, even though maybe the rebate isn't there. We'll see.
Right. I mean, you got the heat pump.
Yeah.
You got a little bit more ground clearance. You got some more space. It's going to be a very popular car, hands down, especially once Tesla starts rolling out the smaller ranged options. Because keep in mind, we're at the very beginning of the Model Y rollout.
So US Model 3s are getting some upgrades.
Now, not big upgrades, but US-made Model 3s are getting built-in wireless phone chargers, which we had seen in China, and USB-C ports that were first introduced in the Model Y and the Chinese-made Model 3s.
Not a huge deal, but good to see that Tesla keeps rolling out the upgrades.
Right. Some people really want wireless charging, and some people really want smaller USB ports in the back of their car because it looks cleaner.
So this is a story from the Sierra Club about some high school students from 3 high schools in Salt Lake City. Now, we tell you all the time on this channel that you have more power than you think. And this story is proof of that.
These students petitioned their school board to adopt a 100% renewable energy policy. And guess what? After hearing their demands on June 2nd, the board voted unanimously to set the goal of transitioning the entire school district to 100% clean electricity by 2030 and off fossil fuels for heating and transportation by 2040.
Now, one of the students, Mahir Tadesi, said, "When I started an environmental club at East High in September, I never thought our involvement would reach this level of impact. This campaign has shown me what a big difference a group of high schoolers can make in leading the way for climate action that has the potential to expand equity by investing cost savings into underserved students and improving indoor air quality, which will help students, myself and community included, who are disproportionately exposed to air pollution where they live." So it's important to note here that in the 2020 Salt Lake City school budget, they budget about $7 million for transportation.
Wow.
And over $20 million to maintain and operate their buildings. This is a $312 million annual budget, and these students just affected that budget.
Wow. And so the next time the district is considering new school buses or heating equipment or solar, they're going to have to consider renewables because of this goal.
And hats off to you students. Good for you. You have more power than you think. And I want to make sure you keep their feet to the fire. It's going to be very easy for them to take this, okay, well, here's the goals for 2030, and they'll put them on the shelf, and then they'll forget about it. Don't let them forget about it. And if you'd like to share this story or any stories that you see on the show as a clip with your friends, you don't want to share the whole hour-long thing, we have a clips channel. Now You Know Clips, where we cut these down into bite-sized, shareable pieces, and you can share them with all your friends.
So heading all the way from Utah to Cork, Ireland. The Cork City Council in Ireland has replaced its gas-burning vans and cars with a fleet of 76 new electric vehicles, creating the biggest local authority zero emissions in the country.
Now, not only does this take 76 ICE engines off the road and brings in all that clean air, it also is going to save 700,000 euros over the next 5 years. Graham Brown in the Roads Maintenance Department has been testing the idea for the past 4 months, and he says, "Initially, when I found out we were going to be driving electric cars, my main concern was that they would have to be plugged in every 5 minutes and you wouldn't go very far. But after driving them for a couple of weeks, that fear was soon alleviated. Most of the time, you would be charging it once or twice a week, and that's about it. It's fantastic. If I was buying a car myself, I wouldn't hesitate to think about getting one. It's extremely comfortable. For purely selfish reasons, aside from being good for the environment, an electric car is very easy to drive. It's very quiet."
And the council installed more than 30 EV chargers at points around the city.
Yeah, I want to give these guys an award. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we should come up with a name for some kind of cool award to give these places who are jumping out in front and setting the example for other places of what can be done.
Yeah, it's like a thumbs up, and it's like the Right On Man Award. Or something a little more professional sounding than that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to need your help with this.
Yeah.
All right. So Brian from I1 Tesla got to hang out with Blake from the Electric Performance Race Team, and he got to drive with Blake on Tail of the Dragon, which is this cool winding road in North Carolina. Let's let Brian tell you about it.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Thanks for coming down to North Carolina, but sorry I missed you. I showed up the same day you were leaving, but I still got to spend a lot of time with Blake. I had a lot of fun seeing the car in the garage as he was putting in the seat and seeing a Model 3 torn apart a little bit more than what I've torn apart a Model 3 before. He had a lot of the interior gutted out and he was installing the racing seat to test fit that. I tried fitting in it, and then I had even more fun with him. Kyle and I took him to the Tail of the Dragon, which is just past North Carolina into Tennessee. It's in the Appalachian Mountains where it is an amazing time. 318 turns and 11 miles. Absolutely fun. It's kind of like a mini version of Pike's Peak without the long straightaway. So awesome. I wish you guys could have came. Maybe we'll get you out there eventually. I made a whole video on it about the driving that Kyle and Blake did. I was way slower than they were. I was probably a little bit more timid. I don't have the experience that they do. Blake is an amazing driver. I think he's going to do awesome at Pike's Peak, which I'm planning on going. I put it in my calendar. I'll meet you guys there at the end of August. I'm sure your viewers know, but the road to Pikes Peak is fan funded. So please help out and get Blake up the mountain as fast as possible. Thanks again, Zach and Jesse. And next time you come out to the track, I'll make sure I'm there and we'll have a lot of fun.
I love watching that race car go up and down mountains. And I can't wait for it to compete at Pikes Peak. And if you want to get your name on the car, you can head over to electricperformance.tv.
Yeah, the first 100 sold out, and we've been pushing Blake really hard to open up one more spot on the car. So I think he's found a place to do it. There's 50 more spots left available, and we kind of need the support because we're really close to making this budget work. But there's some last minute things, like we are still getting that roll cage made, and they're not cheap.
And you can join the team as well by getting some really cool merch. So, I mean, this shirt, we got a hat. Yeah. We got some other cool stuff that you can pick up.
Sweatshirts, yeah.
Yeah. And you get a big discount if you put your name on the car. So
that's right.
Join the team, get some cool merch, and help support us and get up Pikes Peak.
And don't forget that every week on the Electric Performance YouTube channel, you can check out what Blake is doing to get the car ready for Pikes Peak. So we've all heard it by now. Tesla shares topped $1,000 a share last Wednesday for the first time. And for a short time, Tesla's market cap, that's the price per share times the number of shares, was $190 billion. That was worth more than Toyota, which is the most valuable car company in the world.
So to put this in perspective, Ford is worth $27 billion and GM is worth $41 billion. So Tesla is worth more than Ford, GM, BMW, and Fiat Chrysler combined.
And let's remember that Tesla was at $212 a share this time last year, when we were telling you to buy. But Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas has given a downgrade to Tesla stock, an underweight rating, with a price target from $650 to $680. And let's take a look at his hold and buy recommendations over the years. Seems like he's been not quite
on the money, as they would say. As an analyst, as a stock analyst,
right?
I think that especially when it comes to Tesla stock, there's this differentiation between what analysts really think it should be and what it actually is. Because what an analyst's job is supposed to be is guessing what it's going to do.
Right.
And so you kind of have to factor in excitement. Right. And you kind of have to factor in it is going to go to $1,000 a share. Like, you have to factor that into your mind. You can't just be like, oh, I think it should be lower. I don't think it should be this high.
Also, you have to wonder why they're putting these underweight ratings on there. Maybe they want their clients to be able to get into Tesla stock at a cheaper price.
Right, because now everyone's talking about it. Oh, it's $1,000 a share. Oh, I wish I had bought a year ago. Literally 1 year ago. Most people, when you're like, oh, I wish I had bought Google 10, 15 years ago. You literally bought Tesla stock 1 year ago. You would have quintupled your money.
So Goldman Sachs analyst Mark Delaney also downgraded their rating on Tesla to a neutral, even though they had just put a price target previously at $950. He said, we'd look to become more positive on Tesla stock again if we had more confidence in the near to intermediate term trajectory in fundamentals, or if valuation became more attractive.
I think what this is essentially saying is that with the global pandemic, they're just not sure of anything, and they don't want to tell anyone to buy anything.
I guess, but now that Tesla's got its factories up and running again and everything's going well, like, why wouldn't you be bullish?
I guess they're worried about some downturn in the economy that would lead to people buying less cars. We've seen it in the traditional car manufacturing world. People are not buying those cars. People are way disproportionately buying electric cars.
Let's talk about this electric car company, Arcimoto. So the stock rallied a lot last week.
Yeah, it was up to like $4 a share. And people were wondering, like, where did this come from? There was hardly any news about it.
Well, there was some cool news, though, that came out, which was that they've got a new patent that was approved. And that's a patent on an electric three-wheeled vehicle. So basically, they've got their powertrain locked down.
Yep.
And then Arcimoto retained Sandy Munro and Associates when Gally from Hyperchange introduced the CEO of Arcimoto to Sandy Munro. So Sandy Munro is now on board with Arcimoto to help them get their production scaled up.
And I think that is another reason to be bullish on FUV. And that's another stock where if you had just listened to us a couple months ago when we said, hey, this stock's really cheap, it more than doubled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not stock experts.
No, and
we're not stock analysts, and you shouldn't take stock advice from us.
Or anyone on the internet, by the way.
And apparently not stock analysts either, because no one else had really been saying this aside from us and Gally.
But Arcimoto has a great story coming out of this whole pandemic, which is they've got two products which are kind of made for post-pandemic. They've got the Deliverator, which is all about delivering groceries and food to people with an electric vehicle. That's going to be huge because we've just seen a huge increase in the number of people who are using services that get food and things delivered.
Right.
And then they've got the Rapid Responder, which is this great way to respond to emergencies, especially in places where you can't fit a traditional emergency vehicle.
Absolutely.
Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and check your place in line. Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. And they've got the 3D configurator allowing you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality.
And speaking of the Cybertruck, Tesla Truck Club tweeted at Elon last week saying, would be great if the Cybertruck's rear window could roll down into the rear wall, and then the whole wall fold in on top of the folded rear seats. Perfect for camping when the tonneau is closed and carrying things longer than 8 feet.
Elon responded,
Worth considering.
"This is a fantastic idea."
This is kind of the way I had been picturing the Cybertruck in my mind the whole time, because I was like, yeah, that tonneau cover completely changes the bed of a pickup truck. Normally, the bed of a pickup truck is no place for people.
Right.
It is a dirty, rusty. There's always bolts.
Rusty.
Yeah, exactly. There's no rust, right? You can clean this. You can get it sparklingly clean. You can put as much crap in there as you want. Just spray it all off. It's not going to rust. You leave it in the rain, not going to rust.
No, what I love is that, if you put the tonneau cover down and you're sleeping in the bed of the truck, now you can have the climate control from the truck. You can have the stereo on. You can have all that cool stuff. You can watch your movies. This just encloses you in the actual cab of the truck.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, if they do this, even if they don't do this, but if they do this, it's going to be extraordinarily popular.
Yeah. Now, the question is, would this be an option, or do you think you'd make this standard?
I don't know. We're going to have to ask our Patreons on the poll.
So that is a photo of VW's chief Herbert Dice and Ford's CEO Jim Hackett shaking hands.
What? Why are they shaking hands? They're from two separate car companies that are competing against each other. Shouldn't they be fighting with each other? Or shouldn't they be yelling at each other or saying that their cars suck or something?
Well, this is after the automakers inked a deal last week to co-develop electric and self-driving vehicles. And you're asking why. That is to share the costs and to make them able to compete with Tesla. Ford's CEO Jim Hackett said, "This creates a huge opportunity to innovate and solve many of the world's transportation challenges, even as companies need to be selective about how they use their cash." Ford is expected to come out with an EV built on VW's tech in, wait for it, 2023. And that'll be in Europe. But Ford's only real US EV this year is the crossover SUV Mach-E.
So Ford spent all this time and energy making the Mach-E.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to build a completely separate car for Europe that is built on Volkswagen's MEB platform.
Basically because I guess it's cheaper for them to just use the factories over in Europe instead of having to try and compete over there.
So it's basically going to be the ID3, except it'll be Ford. It'll be a Ford
right
something, but it'll basically be
on the platform. Right. And then I guess what VW gets out of this is that they're going to be building some kind of truck. Ford's going to build them some kind of EV truck. Now, speaking of the truck, the Ford F-150, the new model's coming out in July, but that's just the ICE version. The EV version of the Ford F-150 is coming out in...
It was going to be this year, right?
No, they pushed it back.
They pushed it back to when?
2022. Yeah, and that's kind of sad because if Ford had been able to get the Ford F-150 electric out this year, it would have beaten the Cybertruck to market, and that could have given them a cool leg up. But instead, even though they've pretty much, I think, got the platform ready, right? It's the Rivian. Why didn't they just slap on a Ford F-150 body and just get it out the door, just get things happening?
I think that they're feeling a little gun shy after they came out with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. And people are like, wait a minute, why did you name it why did you name it a Mustang? Why did you name it the Mach-E? You have the trademark for Model E, and you didn't use that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, the Model E, we're redesigning ourselves back to Henry Ford back in the 1910s. We're gonna be great. We're remaking ourselves.
You could be the VP of electric.
Well, I mean, why? We talked about this last week, but you have the Model E in you didn't let Tesla use it. You said, Tesla, don't use that for your car, your electric car that we're not going to make until way later.
Right.
We're going to, but when we do make a car, it's going to be called the Mustang Mach-E.
And speaking of Ford, their biggest seller, the F-150 pickup truck, Ford COO Jim Farley said, "The launches are really critical for our North America profitability and our customers. The F-150, that is our key launch this year. We are number one in the pickup and van market in Western Europe and the U.S., and this is our chance. We are electrifying, and we are a brand people trust."
Awesome. Cool. So they're going to be coming out with the Ford F-150 electric this year.
Nope, stop.
What are you talking about? He just said it. He just said it.
No, he said the Ford F-150 ICE version is coming out in July, the new one. The electric one isn't coming out till mid-2022.
So okay. I can understand, there could be some delays. We've had a global pandemic with all sorts of craziness and lots of things get delayed. You're telling me that the gas burning version didn't get delayed, but that the electric version got delayed a full year.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. I guess
they want to go head to head with the Cybertruck? I have no idea.
At the same time, right? Because that's when the Cybertruck will
already be out,
and already be selling, and
getting all the press. And yeah, I have no idea. Why wouldn't you want to come out ahead of the Cybertruck, be the first to market, get a little bit of a bump, and then
I see what they're trying to avoid. They don't want to be the Leaf or the Bolt. They don't want to come out first, because here's what happened with the Bolt. The Bolt came out first, and they were like, "Look at us! It's a long-range EV. Come on, everybody, come buy it." Now, lots of people went and bought it.
Good song.
And check it out now. Its sales have slumped.
So do you think when the Cybertruck comes out, they're still going to want to come out with their,
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We end up in 2022, mid-2022. They still haven't come out with the truck, and they push it back even further because they get a Cybertruck. They take it apart, figure out how to build one.
They start crying.
They figure out how they can beat it in one particular department.
Oh, I see.
They're going to be like, "We have a faster 0 to 60 time where it can tow more."
What could it possibly do better than the stats we've seen for the Cybertruck?
I don't know.
You can put bigger wheels on it and put a lift kit. It comes with a lift kit standard.
That's my conjecture.
Yeah.
My humorous conjecture.
Yeah, when you roll back to this episode in a few years, I think you're right. I think they're going to probably push it back from 2022.
And you're going to be like, what's Ford? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's another one. All right, so Jesse, did you hear about this? SpaceX is now offering ride sharing. So I'm going to get on my app here, SpaceX app, and get myself a ride.
Yeah, that's not what they mean.
It's only $1 a ride right there.
No. It's $1 million a ride. Starts at $1 million.
Oh, why is this so expensive?
So this ride sharing is not to get you across town.
No?
This is to get you into orbit around the Earth.
Why would I want to go to orbit?
You don't want to. It's for companies who want to put up satellites but don't want to spend a ton of money.
That makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. SpaceX launched its 10th mission this year, just 9 days since the last Starlink launch from the same pad. Just let that settle in for a second. 9 days ago, they just launched 60 satellites. Then they just did it again 9 days later.
Yeah.
That's a SpaceX record turnaround. They launched another 58 Starlink satellites on a Falcon 9. They now have over 530 Starlink satellites in orbit. And this is the first rideshare on a Starlink launch. The company called Planet launched 3 more SkySats into their constellation.
So this is a way for SpaceX to make even more money on their Starlink launches, because not only are they going to be becoming basically a internet service provider to the entire world, they're also going to basically be able to be like, "Hey, anyone want to hop on board?"
Yeah.
It's way cheaper than if you wanted to hire some other company to do it.
Yeah,
we're going up there anyway.
It's like $1 million a ride,
which sounds like a lot of money.
But to get your satellite in space, that's cheap.
It's cheap
and fast.
So
Janice Brawny, a biochemist at Utah State University, was doing a study to track how wind-blown dust delivers nutrients to ecosystems.
That sounds like a really nice project.
Except what she found wasn't so nice. When she looked at the samples from 11 remote areas in the U.S. West, including major national parks like the Grand Canyon, she, quote, found a lot of tiny fibers, likely from clothes, carpets, and other textiles. She also found minuscule particles, about 30% of which were brightly colored spheres. She concluded that more than 132 pieces of microplastic land on every square meter of wilderness each day. 1,000 tons of plastic equivalent to 300 million plastic water bottles of plastic dust, is blowing into U.S. national parks each year. Bronny says, "We created something that won't go away. It's now circulating around the globe."
And this is something that when we're talking about plastic, I think that it kind of gets lost because for most of us, plastic has been in our lives our whole life. But it's important to keep in mind that the first plastics were emerging turn of the century and a little bit later. Most plastics were being developed in the 40s and 50s. And so there just was no such thing as plastic as we know it today on Earth before then. And that, let me remind you, is less than 100 years. So we developed this thing less than 100 years ago, just started making a lot of it. It's not that the plastic water bottle is going to, sit in the dirt and be covered by dirt like dinosaurs. Like, who cares? No dinosaurs ever come jumping out of the earth to get us. No, they turn into dust. And then that dust just goes everywhere. And here's the scary part. We don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like we're like, oh, don't worry about it. We did a multi-year study studying this sort of thing on the developmental things with people's brains. No, we didn't do that.
This scientist, she did this work. You know who funded it?
Her university?
No, she funded it. She self-funded the study. There's no big plastic institute funding, studies on let's find out what's the problem and how to solve it. They don't care.
No, their main focus on how can we bury stuff like this
and make it cheaper.
Right. It could be that we find out that plastic is going to be the death of us all, and we're not going to know that for another 10 years because we haven't even started doing the science on it.
Right.
That's the scary part about plastic. So that way, when we're like, we should stop having plastic straws, and people are like, we shouldn't stop having plastic straws.
They're very convenient.
How am I supposed to drink? It's like, okay, calm down. We've all, for millennia, that's what we've been doing. But as soon as we had, you know what we can do? We make 1 billion of these. We'll sell them. And I'm not talking about, I'm not picking on straws specifically. I'm saying everything. Look, just don't even move your head. Just with your eyes, look around, see what's made of plastic in your periphery. It's astounding.
On your body.
And what are you going to do with all those plastic things?
Yeah.
Do you have a plan for all of them? Do you know where they're going to go when you put that in the recycling bin and it actually ends up in a landfill? Anyway, just a little mini rant about plastic because who knows? That's fun.
Is that the new plastic logo?
Who knows? But it probably isn't good.
So Tesla has received permission from the Chinese Ministry of Industry and Information Technology to allow Tesla to use lithium iron ferrous phosphate, which is LFP batteries, in their Model 3 being built at the Shanghai Gigafactory.
This is the first time that non-Panasonic made batteries are going into Teslas. And the LFP batteries are being built at Giga Shanghai by CATL and LG Chem. So let me just ask you for a second. How are you going to have two separate battery companies under the same roof making the same batteries?
They're probably going to put a curtain in the middle of the factory and be like, you stay on your side, and we'll stay on our side. And if you come to our side, you have to put on this blindfold. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how that's going to work.
I know. That's really weird because they're two giant battery competitors. Why would they want to work together?
So let's talk about LFP batteries for a second, because that might give us a little bit of a better insight. Basically, LFPs are less energy dense than lithium ions, meaning that you need more of them, which means that the Model 3s produced in China are going to weigh about 220 pounds more than the ones in the U.S.
Yeah, which made me wonder. We've already heard that Chinese customers, rightfully so, don't want to get an inferior product to the one made in other places. So why would you want to get a car that weighs 220 pounds more, which probably affects its performance and its range and so forth, when you could be getting ones that have the same batteries?
Right. Now, I've heard on multiple different news sources that they're basically claiming that this is the million-mile battery because it's a new battery, and Tesla said they're going to come out with a new battery, so therefore, this must be the new battery. I don't think that this is the case. I really don't think so, and I think that this might be the one reason why CATL and LG Chem are able to come together and build these batteries. I think it's because they are not as good.
Yeah.
And I think that Tesla is going to be doing this in China. Now, there might be some other benefits that are going to benefit Chinese customers more so than if it were
There's some good news,
in the
which
US.
is there's no cobalt in these batteries. So that's a plus. But I'm just saying from a customer's point of view, why would you want that? Okay, so this should be a nice, enjoyable story. Mm-hmm. One of those stories where you smile at the end and you go, oh, isn't that nice?
Good.
But spoiler alert, it's not going to end well.
Why?
All right, it starts off with $192,000 from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill settlement that went to the Pinellas County to pay for the U.S. East Coast's first inductive wireless bus charging station.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Some comeuppance.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Okay.
So far, it's sounding pretty good.
Pinellas has 2 electric buses with 180 miles of range and will be getting 4 more by 2021.
Nice.
You line the bus up over the plate, press the button, and voila, 10 minutes later, the bus is charged up with 250 kilowatts of charging.
Wow, that's powerful. Awesome.
And if we stop right there, that'd be a nice story.
That's great. Awesome.
Here's where it takes a turn.
Okay.
A PSTA spokesperson said eventually PSTA has a goal of having an all-electric vehicle fleet. But let's point out that Pinellas has 210 vehicles, so they've got a ways to go.
Okay.
So then a couple weeks ago, the U.S. Department of Transportation decided to give Pinellas $21.8 million for new state-of-the-art buses, and the mayor accepted.
Yes. Awesome. So they're going to have more of these electric buses. That's fantastic.
You would think so, right? But then
Yes, I would think so, actually.
But the spokesperson for the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority, the PSTA, said, "We decided against all-electric buses since there would be a need to construct charging infrastructure along the bus rapid transit route given the long route." And so the route, by the way, is about 11 miles each way.
You said he said that it was a long route.
Well, that's a long time to be on a bus, 11 miles.
But charging infrastructure for 11 miles? What?
So then the PSTA spokesperson said, once the BRT is completed and we get the hybrid electric buses running, we'll be collecting data to see how we can integrate all electric buses onto the route. I think we mentioned in one of our in-depths a couple weeks ago why it's important for you to run for office, and this is a perfect case here. If you get involved in your local government, you can stop this kind of asinine behavior, because why are we waiting to electrify our bus fleets? They got the money. They already got paid to do the charging infrastructure, so now you're going to buy hybrid buses that don't use the charging infrastructure?
Right.
What? You need to get involved, people.
Right.
Because if you don't, who do you think will?
These dopes, these absolute dopes. And if you have just a little bit of a better idea than what they have, we're already light years ahead. Yeah. And you might be saying to yourself, like, oh, so I guess I have to run for the Transit Authority and maybe my Energy Commission and all of these other things. You don't have to do all of that. If you run for one office, you're going to be involved in your town's politics or your county or your state. And you're going to know who is who. Right? And you're going to have a connection with them because you're going to be saying, hi, my name is John Smith. I'm on the such and such committee. I heard that you were thinking of going to electric buses. Can you tell me why you're thinking of doing that? And then when he gives you some, we were thinking of blah, 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 you can say, actually, you should really consider doing all electric. And then when he goes, I don't think so. It's a long charging route. And you go, oh, really? Is it really a long charging route? What's the length? You can have that conversation with that person. And then you can go to your circle of friends and have someone who run against that person. Or you can basically just...
Or educate that person.
Educate that person.
Because don't forget, a lot of times the reason they go the route they do is because they're already used to doing it that way. Well, we just buy our buses from Joe Schmo's bus company, and that's, what, we have to start finding other bus companies?
We made it sound green because it's hybrid, but we'll never plug them in.
Right.
And so, just a little bit of education, just a little bit of a nudge here and there could make a huge difference.
So this from the EIA, which is the Energy Information Agency, which, by the way, I looked up this week, and it is funded by Congress with a $125 million budget every year, and it has 325 federal employees. And so the EIA put out this information in April of 2019. U.S. monthly electricity generation from renewable sources exceeded coal-fired generation for the first time. Renewable sources provided 23% of total electricity generation compared to coal's 20%. Now, the EIA estimates that coal generation will total 724 billion kilowatt hours in 2020 compared to 761 billion hours for renewables. That's a considerable difference from 2019 when the coal renewable breakdown was a whole lot different. 954 billion kilowatt hours for coal, 688 billion for renewables. So as you can see from this graph here, it is shifting in our favor.
Yes.
Another cool thing is that EIA forecasts that renewable generation will continue to outpace coal in 2021, with 833 billion kilowatt hours versus 810 billion kilowatt hours for coal. So Amanda Levin, policy analyst with the Natural Resources Defense Council, said, "I do think that 2019 is going to be the last year that coal produces more power than renewables." And just a cool thing I found out, the EIA has this beta grid monitor tool, which you can go to on their website. We'll put the link down below. You can see these cool graphs of near real-time energy production here in the U.S. Take a look at this one right here. Shows you that solar and wind actually make a whole lot of cool energy every day. I didn't realize it was this high.
Yeah.
And that line that's in the middle there, that's nuclear. It can't respond to the needs of the grid. It has to keep pumping out the same amount.
Yeah.
Whereas the one at the top, that's natural gas.
Right. Wow.
And if after seeing that, you're thinking, well, I'd like to contribute to solar energy. Can I put solar on my roof? Yes, you can. The team at Energy Pal are a bunch of energy geeks that help homeowners get solar for less. So you can just sit on your couch, head on over to Energy Pal with the link down below, and they will help figure out all this stuff for you. No pressure, no sales talk.
Right. And the other cool thing is that they're now offering power walls. So
Yeah.
if you want to have some battery backup or you want to make some money buying and selling from the grid using a battery, you can.
All right, it's time for Throwback Thursdays.
It's Monday.
Let's go back, shall we? The year is 1978. The world is in the midst of an oil crisis, with gas prices skyrocketing. Jimmy Carter is president of the U.S. So what does the U.S. do?
I don't know. I wasn't alive.
They passed the Energy Tax Act of 1978. And one of the provisions is to tax gas-guzzling vehicles with a tax of up to $7,000 to make buying them undesirable.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know we did that. You'd think that would have more of an impact on like truck sales and stuff.
Oh, you know why it doesn't?
Why?
You're going to find out in a second.
Oh,
but I
okay.
will point out that Germany is actually doing something like this as we speak. They're introducing a tax on vehicles that get less than 28 miles per gallon, which is a gas guzzler
That
tax.
sounds really smart. So okay, but that sounds really good. Again, why haven't I heard about it?
Well, because soon after they passed it, Congress got lobbied by Big Oil and Big Auto, and they said, why don't you put a little change to the law? We got an improvement for you. Why don't you exempt SUVs and trucks?
But that was the point. So then who are we taxing?
Well, as David Reichmouth, a senior engineer for the Union of Concerned Scientists Clean Vehicles program, explains, SUVs and trucks are exempt, and the cutoff is 22.5 miles per gallon on the unadjusted CAFE test. That's around 17 miles per gallon on the sticker. Depends a bit on the car. So only low-volume sports cars are going to be subject to the tax. The tax ranges from $1,000 to over $7,000, but that highest value is for below 12.5 miles per gallon as tested, so less than about 10 miles per gallon on the sticker. I'm not sure any vehicles are in that category today. So the gas guzzler tax is on the books, but the MPG level and SUV truck exclusion mean that it's a non-factor. So just to give you some idea, the 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk four-wheel drive, which gets 13 miles per the gallon, is the country's least efficient SUV, and there's no tax on it.
13 miles per gallon? I didn't even know that was possible. I thought that you had to have like 8 cinder blocks hanging out of the back of your car with chains to reach that level of fuel inefficiency.
Yep.
And we don't tax it, even though we have a tax for it, but it's exempt because of lobbying, basically just corruption at this point. I mean, that's just, can we just call it what it is? Can we call a duck and corruption when we see it? That's bleh.
Yeah. It's time for our video contributor stories, which are sponsored by GoPuck. If you need a cool, small, powerful battery for your pocket so you can power all your devices, go check out GoPuck. The referral link and discount code is in the show notes below. So what do we got this week, Jess?
We have Mariotz with his Model 3 grocery hooks.
In this video I'm showing you how I installed grocery hooks in my Model 3. These hooks are widely available on the internet and were designed for some VW Group cars. They cost around 5 to 9 euros and are relatively easy to find on Amazon, eBay or any other online shop, you name it. So this is the end result. I don't know if you can see it, but this one is just a tiny little bit off. But that's okay. These are pretty good centered. So the idea is you just pull here and you have those two side hooks available for your groceries. The same over here. Actually, you probably can go with the combo if you have a bigger bag. And I found this the best place because I saw that you can buy like a 3D printed hook that you can attach to this screw here. But yeah, it's only one, and these guys, you just go with the groceries without seeing them. You can just feel it, touch it. When you learn where they are, you just pull it and have it available. Okay, take care, guys. Now you know.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't even think of that as an option.
No, I mean, I think Tesla should think about adding those.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the grocery hooks in the front, and then they got rid of them.
Right.
I'm glad I have mine. I mean, I never use them. They're actually pretty useless.
But you're glad you have
I'm glad I have them. Just in case.
glad I have 'em.
Just in case I have the right size bag. They work for plastic grocery bags, but of course I don't use them as much as humanly possible.
Right.
Hard to do in the global pandemic where people are afraid of reusable grocery bags.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. And if you're new to the show and you're like, what are they talking about every week? What is this? It's our Patreon. So if you go over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, you'll be able to support us there for as little as $1 a month and watch all of our Patreon bonus stories along with cool other perks as well. So go head on over there and check out Patreon bonus stories where we're about to talk about a bunch of things that we don't talk about on the regular show.
It's a Patreon bonus story.
All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories, and that's always a pump to my just energy level in the middle of the show. I love it.
We get to talk to our friends and tell them all about what we've been up to.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And all about that thing behind us there.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
All right, it's time for our Patreon shout-outs. Who do we have this week, Jess?
We have Mark Needier,
Glenn Jones,
Colleen Molly Garcia,
Jeffrey Parkinson,
Peter Bo Nielsen,
Roger Hirschbein,
Michael Matsierek,
Frank Lanius,
John R. Lavender,
Joey Corriveau,
Robert Sweeney,
James Dennis,
Sabrina Clark,
and Tim Napier.
Thank you so much for supporting our channel. We can't do it without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. And of course, we need a dad joke in there. So World of Engineering said, there are only 10 types of people in the world, those who understand binary and those who don't. And Elon said, and those who weren't expecting a ternary joke. And then John had an idea for Elon. He said, had a great time camping in the Model 3. Just one bit of feedback. It'd be nice if the screen turned off after a given amount of time instead of playing the campground animation all night. Hashtag, I love this car. And Elon said,
Good point. I didn't believe him because I think that I had camped in the car before. I think it was before camp mode. So that's probably why.
wait, so you just tested this?
Yeah, and he's right. It doesn't shut off. Now, I think instead of it being a timer, I think that the user should have control. You should be able to hit a button that says turn screen off. And then it'll say something like, I'm going to shut the screen off. If you want to wake me back up, just tap the screen 3 times.
Yeah.
Because like maybe you're reading and you left a white screen in the background and you're like reading and then you're like, good night, click.
And then Pranay said, people, autopilot will never be safe. Autopilot avoids a pig at night. So there's a video here of the Tesla avoiding a pig at night. And Elon said, autopilot's prime directive is don't crash. What seems fast to humans is slow to a computer. 360-degree low light vision and sonar plus forward radar enable to be superhuman. Upcoming software upgrades will increasingly show the potential.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then if you want to prank your grandma, why not do this?
Give me a second, I forgot something in the house.
Let's! Let me the out of this car! How the you stop this Oh! No! Let's!
Okay, I don't know if that's the best thing to
or
pray.
give her a heart attack.
Yeah,
And then Jim Bridenstine, the head of NASA, said, the cost-saving success of commercial crew is based on NASA establishing high-level requirements and letting private companies innovate. For the Artemis moon base, NASA will establish a cost per ton delivered and once again let private companies innovate. And Elon was totally psyched about this. He said, outcome-based contracting with multiple contractors is vastly better than cost-plus, especially if sole-sourced, as the former rewards results and the latter rewards waste. Outcome contracting should be applied broadly within government. The difference in results will be incredible. And yeah, I think the only sad thing about competition here is I think SpaceX is going to be the only one to be able to get us to the moon base because they have reusable rockets.
And this kind of brings up a point about SpaceX. They are attracting the best engineers because they have the best technology. So if you're an engineer and you want to do good things and you want to work hard and you want to make a rocket that's going to land on the moon and make a moon base, you're going to go work for SpaceX.
Yeah.
You are not going to stay working for Boeing. So if you're working at Boeing and you want to do that, you are applying for SpaceX every day.
Yeah.
And if you're working for Boeing and you don't want to do those things, then you keep working for Boeing because
I'm working at Boeing. I'm going to get a great pension. I get lots of money. And then I don't have to do very much. And I keep working for Boeing.
not trying to offend anyone who works for Boeing. I'm just saying, if you're not applying for SpaceX, then you don't want to work for SpaceX. That's
what you're saying.
that kind of, which just means that SpaceX is going to be the company that is going to excel because they have the brightest engineers and the ones who are going to work the hardest.
Yeah. Moonbase, dude.
Yeah.
So cool. And then Elon said, I got the fuel cell question about 8,000 times. And then Apollo said, so why do traditional companies pursue hydrogen instead of electricity? And then Olina posted this article about Hyundai and how they're going after the hydrogen car. And Elon said, staggeringly dumb.
It is staggeringly dumb. We've talked about this. I also feel like 1,000 times. People are just like, but hydrogen, no. It's less efficient. It's just a less efficient way to get renewable energy into a car.
All right, it's time for community mail time.
So our friend John in Boston said, while driving on my way home today, I felt the car jerk a little bit and applied a little brake, which confused me as to why. When I got home and reviewed the footage, I noticed a small rabbit that ran across the front of the car. Pretty much the car sensed and saw the rabbit and tried to prevent hitting it safely all the time without leaving the lane.
Wait, so he didn't hit the rabbit?
Didn't hit the little bunny.
Aw,
Isn't
that's
that
awesome.
He says, I love my car, man.
Wow.
Also from John in Boston, he shared us this, which is a map of charging stations in Chicago from 1916.
Yeah, you know, Ari shared the same map with me as well. A lot of people, I guess, it's been going around. This is from 1916, and there's over 72 charging stations just in the city alone.
Right.
This is back from 1916.
Right.
That's over 100 years ago.
Right. And I mean, I think that we're really lucky that we have a better route planner now. That you didn't have to you weren't like, oh, let me just see where these charging stations are.
And then our buddy Daryl Elliott wrote this cool article called The PHEV Era Needs to End Now. That is the plug-in hybrid EV. And he has a really good point. You should go check out his article. We'll put the link down in the show notes below. Thank you, Daryl. And then in connection with our in-depth from a couple weeks ago, our buddy Bill wrote us this letter. He said, I run my own business and I'm in no position at the moment to run for office myself. But even before Friday, I had unwittingly already done what you suggested. My friend Don decided to run for our local county board and asked me to sign his petition to get added to the ballot. Robin and I happily signed, but I also urged him to raise the profile of renewable energy in our county, as we feel that Wisconsin in general is behind our neighboring states in that regard. He was actually elected in April. Not surprisingly, he ran unopposed. Don informed me a few weeks later that he'd applied for membership on a county energy committee and had been accepted and would try to do what he could to advance the case for renewables in Chippewa County. I was very pleased and offered to come talk to his committee if they have any questions that I could help answer. We'll see what happens. Government often moves slower than we'd like, but getting the right people to inject these past due ideas into the public discourse is what it takes to make meaningful change.
Wow.
You're absolutely right,
What a
Bill.
fantastic story. Great job, Bill. Not only in getting your friend elected, but in also telling the story and getting that story across. It's something, exactly, maybe you aren't the right person, or maybe you aren't going to be elected to an office that you think is going to have a meaningful thing, but maybe you can get on some energy council or committee and make some meaningful change. Or talk to your legislature and see if you can convince them.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful ideas in there. Thank you so much, Bill.
All right, it's time for results of our Patreon polls. And if you would like to become a Patreon, you can answer our weekly polls. So we have a number of cool polls every week. This poll we asked was, would you ride in an electric airplane?
And 563 people said that they would. Count them in. And 6 people said that they wouldn't and that they like aviation fuel. I feel like we may have led the witness a little bit on that.
All right, it's time for our Supercharger reviews. And remember that you can go out there in the world and shoot these reviews of destination chargers and superchargers. Not only get them on the air here, but also get them on our website at nowyouknowchannel.com/supercharger reviews, where you can go and take a look at our map and check out any supercharger you want that we have a review of and see what it was all about. That's really cool.
Yeah. And just make sure to shoot in landscape. So turn your phone sideways so we can see the landscape.
So this is sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. If you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla, check out Evannex and use our discount code NOWYOUKNOW to save you 10% on purchases over $100.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I'm at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in State Line, Nevada. There's a 14-stall supercharger here. With the casinos being closed and everything for quarantine, there's not really a whole lot around. There's a CVS down around the corner that's still open. It has bathrooms and water and snacks. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10 because it's out of the sun and it's really nice and breezy in here. All right, now you know.
I'm at the Atlantis Hotel and Casino in Reno, Nevada, where we have a 6-station supercharger, which today has one of each of the Tesla cars, a Model X on the left, a Model S in the middle, and a brand new Model 3 in the middle. The location is pretty easy to use. It's off of Virginia Street and Moana Lane. Amenities, of course, are really great. The casino has everything you want, from restaurants, shows. It's open 24/7, and of course, yeah, you can gamble. I can't see how they could have made this any better. It's rarely crowded, and it's easy to get to, and it's got 24/7 convenience. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Go for it.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, here we are at the Mount Gilead, Ohio Supercharger. There are 8 stalls, and as you can see, they're not very busy. Ours is the only car there today. There's a place across the street to get some food, and then there's also a car wash here, a laundromat, and a bakery down at the end. So I'll rate this one as an 8. Oh, and there are bathrooms in the laundromat. So now you know.
Well, isn't that lovely?
Yes. And I want to say, I really want to see some more destination charger reviews because those places are, you might not think, like, superchargers are so cool, but it's actually the destination chargers that make more interesting trips possible. Because you can stop there, sleep over, you know, if it's at a hotel.
Lunch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, sleeping in a hotel, that's a supercharger stop. You're going to charge up all the way. You can go explore some place that isn't the interstate.
All right, it's time for our new superchargers this week. We got a bunch. What do we got first?
We got the 12-stall version 3 supercharger at Pismo Beach, California.
We got the 20-stall version 3 at Hermosa Beach, California.
We got the 8-stall version 3 supercharger in Mackinac City, Michigan.
We got the 12-stall Urban in Miami on South Dixie Highway in Florida.
The 12-stall version 3 supercharger in Centennial, Colorado.
And the 8-stall version 3 in Hardyville, South Carolina, which is very needed because that's so close to Savannah, Georgia, and you normally have to go to the airport to get charged there. So this is perfect. Good job, Tesla.
Perfect. You finally got the right supercharger for Savannah.
All right, it's time for our Patreon giveaway, and we're going to be giving away a Poster Envy poster. What's the poster?
Let's see.
I'd like to die on Mars, just not on impact. Elon Musk.
Whoa. Well, hopefully this person wants to die on Mars, just not on impact. Well, I guess it's a quote. It doesn't mean that they... All right, the winner is Chris Till.
Congratulations, Chris.
So
You're the
can
winner.
Let us know if you would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. And we're going to be signing the back. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the show. We really
All right. Now you said we're gonna get to talk about this.
You're right. I
So,
completely forgot. Let me
talk about it.
There we go.
This. Okay. The first giveaway. All right. The first giveaway here is that it says SpaceX on it.
Yes. So this is. I might actually hold this up in front of the camera. Do you think I should go do that?
If you sure.
It's very heavy. See if anyone can guess.
As he walks over to the camera.
There we go.
And this was given to us by Tom from BatteryHookup.com, which is a great place to get all of your battery needs. Who knew you could get a battery from SpaceX? Wait, Falcon 9?
That's Falcon 9.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this was on a Falcon 9?
And the red caps means that it's decommissioned.
Wait, so this was on a Falcon 9 that went up into space and came back?
Yes.
What?
So.
What the what?
We need to find a spot for it.
Oh, we will find a spot for it, but keep it here first. I want to keep looking at it. Wait, so look at this wire along the edge. Like, this is in case something goes wrong, right? It like shuts down, and then there's these vents on top, and oh my God, it's a lithium-ion battery that's been to space.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
Oh my God, this has to be prominently placed on the set.
It's right next to our battery. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Our battery, which is behind my chair. 2 lithium-ion batteries next to each other, huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good. Good addition to our set.
Wow.
I don't know what else is in there. It's definitely a battery.
I mean, I'm guessing it's 2170s. Like, don't you think they would have called up Tesla? Like, SpaceX would have been like, guys, can you put us together a battery for a rocket?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I would love to take it apart, but I don't want to take it apart.
Any SpaceX engineers out there, you got all the deets. I showed you them. So if you wanted to let us know which launch that was on.
When did you show them? Oh, up close. Oh, yeah.
If you want to let us know what launch that was on, maybe in a cryptic email. Just send me a date.
It's Rev A, so it's got to probably be an early block.
Whatever. If it was one that blew up, I don't care. Just let me know.
It couldn't have been one that blew up. I mean, it's here.
Did you see that thing? Thing is beefy.
Wow.
So
thank you to Tom from Battery Hookup because you did hook us up. That is amazing. If you guys need anything for your do-it-yourself projects that involves lithium-ion batteries, go over to Battery Hookup. You will not be sad about that.
No.
It is a fantastic site for all kinds of stuff. And they've got these new, we'll talk about it next week, but they've got these new nickel plates that, you know how we made our battery?
Yeah.
We can't individually fuse them. With Tom's new nickel plate, you can individually fuse each battery. It's so cool. I can't wait to make a pack with it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Now you know.